Hello and welcome back to Shion's adventure in Meakashi. I know I said it right, but it still bothers me. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. My tongue, anyways, I'm sure. Other people are better at it. But yeah, welcome back for episode 7. This is, for the people who follow this is the last day of our week-long introduction to the series. It's been fun, but now it will not be a daily thing. Not to say that I don't enjoy reading it daily. I think it's more just the fact that I have to upload every day. Like I feel this obligation, which kind of is tiring. Like not reading itself, but just an obligation to do stuff. So just before this, instead of making an update video because I'm lazy, since most people watch this anyways, or most people who care, I'll just talk about the schedule real quick. Again, there is no real schedule, so if I miss a day, then don't worry too much. But I plan to at least upload 3 episodes a week. Like that will be, again, Higurashi is the main priority, so like in my recordings, I will focus on getting at least um, 3 episodes. Probably on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just because it's every other day is kind of a pretty pattern, and I like that. Um, Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I get the time, will be whatever other secondary project I'm doing, which is Franbo right now, or when I finish it, whatever's that, something spooky usually. Um, Sundays used to be SIW days, but I think I'm gonna take a break on that. Not that I don't enjoy it, I think it's fun, but it's just like, again, this channel is pretty low effort, but that's fine for like reading and playing games. But for like stuff like talking about movies and stuff, I feel like there should be a bit more of an effort, but I just can't. I can't bother. So it's kind of like janky, but I mean it's been fun, and I'll probably do SIWs sometime when I have a movie I or a show I really want to talk about, but I don't think it's like necessarily necessary to do like every week just because I watch a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, so Saturdays and Sundays are kind of free right now. I think I'm gonna be doing like a playthrough of Rants 3. Um, just because I have 3 Rants videos on this channel, and I do look at views, but I didn't look at like total views, so I didn't notice. But people have been commenting on them recently, and like when I look at total number of views, I didn't know, but like 2 of the 3 videos are like ranked third and fourth in like total amount of views, so that's kind of crazy. And the third video is like in the top 20. But yeah, it's been popping off, and Rents is a fun series, so that should be uploaded, I don't know, either Saturday, Sundays, once a week, because that actually does require a little bit more effort for like censoring stuff. So basically 3 episodes of Higurashi, 2 of whatever, 1 of Rants, and then you have like an open day, which will either be for like Higurashi or the other game. So it's 3 to 4 episodes of Higurashi a week, but we'll just see how we feel. Also, on another note, for the total number of views, I'm almost at 1,000 views for like the very first Higurashi episode. So thanks for everyone who at least checked out the playthrough. I know that's not indicative of like everyone watching, because people obviously just want to see what the style or the reader's style is about in the first episode. But it has increased over the year, I hope. So yeah, that'll be fun. Maybe once I hit 1,000 in that, I'll throw in an extra Higurashi video just for the day as a mini celebration. But there's that. So yeah, let's go back into this game. Last time we went on a like, well, we went shopping with Satoshi. We met him again. Shion's like realizing that she kind of has a crush on him, and is like super interested. You learn Satoshi's kind of an airhead and kind of unreliable, I guess. Like he's doesn't know the difference between like what to buy for grocery shopping and stuff. So yeah, pretty interesting character. He's like timid, but he can be brave, but at the same time he's a little bit unreliable. So we're getting a lot in Satoshi just from that one chapter, plus those 2 hints. I feel like I'm getting a good grasp on what he's like. So let's continue on. Let's see how this goes. Maybe this chapter will meet some of the other cast members. And again, Shion does feel like she says she wants to like, she's getting tired of pretending to be Mion. So eventually there will be a reveal. And obviously next year we know that she is just revealing herself to everyone. Which might be a hint that Oryu dies this year, or it could be next year. I don't know. Or I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that she needs to No. Yeah, she reveals herself next year, or it doesn't have to be, because in Honor Takashi she never showed up. But I kind of, while I was thinking about it, I kind of realized which I don't know if I said before, and if I did I don't remember, but I guess that's how like Mion or Shion knew about Keiichi going to lunch with Oishi, because I'm pretty sure they're at Angel Mort, so Shion was probably like working there, but Keiichi probably didn't notice, or Shion was like kind of hiding, so that's how they knew. Shion either called Mion, or that was Shion in disguise. Maybe that was a hint that was Shion at the place, at the mochi place, or not the mochi place, the mochi scene. So interesting stuff, but let's get right into chapter 4, I believe. See what we got today. More Satoshi hunting. Oh, we're at the baseball stadium. All right away.
今日もお暑いのにご精が出ますことで。
お、ミオンさんじゃないですか。
First appearance by Irie, looking sharp in his coaching outfit.
こんにちは。あれ？それは差し入れですか？ありがたいな。さすがは我がチームのマネージャー。
まあ気が向いたからです。別に監督に差し入れたくて買ってきたわけじゃないので、そこんとこよろしくお願いします。
So is this a slight time skip where she actually does sign up to be a manager, or is he just calling her a manager because she brought refreshments?
あと、さりげなく人を勝手にマネージャーに組み込まないように。
They're idle asking questions that are literally answered within the next line, as per usual.
ミオンがマネージャーだったらいろいろ心強いと思うけどね。
Look at that fresh outfit, Satoshi. Actually, I don't know if I like those uniforms. They look kind of janky. Don't really like the color combo, but who knows? Possible thumbnails. Try to hunt for those.
やってよ、ミオン。
Ooh.
マネージャー。
Satoshi-kun smiled at me in a carefree manner. I didn't want to become their manager. It'd be tiresome. I've been coming every week though, so I'm a quasi-manager already, so it is a time skip, so she came so this is multiple weeks ahead.
まあ本当に気が向いたらその時はやりますんで。で、どうです？サトシ君の打率はどんな感じです？
ええ、頑張ってますよ。彼の打率ですか？そうですね。セブンスマートでおせんべいの袋をどれでも3つ買うとですね。
それってつまり3割ってことですか？
I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible.
へえ、サトシ君って結構な高打率打者じゃないの。
打率は数字じゃないよ、ミオン。ここ一番で打てなきゃ意味はないんだからさ。
think I probably mentioned it before in Totoroshi, but I actually do like baseball. It's one of the sports I watched a lot as a kid, even though I know a lot of people think it's probably pretty boring. I don't think it's popular outside of North America and Japan. It's really popular in Japan. But I enjoy it. I think it's pretty fun to watch. It's probably like the sporting event I've been to most at. Like I went to a lot of baseball games. Well, not a lot, but like more than anything else. But yeah, out of like mainstream team sports, baseball is pretty fun to watch. And I've seen basketball too. Basketball's fun. But I don't like soccer or hockey, despite being in Canada. I don't think hockey's that interesting. Is that all? I think that, oh, football. Well, yeah, like NFL football. I don't think, well, yeah, I said soccer. Yes, we say soccer in Canada too. But football is kind of boring for me too. But yeah, I like baseball. It's fun.
サトシ君は自分で自分の弱点をよく分かっているようですね。そこまで分かっているなら、あとは練習あるのみですよ。
Irie signaled to the pitcher, who then threw the ball. Satoshi-kun looked calm, following the ball with his eyes. Then he swung. Dink. Thwack. The ball flew between first and second bases and landed in the distance.
Oh! Yatta! Pachi 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 pachi!
I clapped and Satoshi-kun blushed in response. He repositioned his helmet to hide his face.
フリーバッティングや試合が平坦な時はかなり落ち着いたいいバッティングを見せてくれるんですけどね。
Irie smiled compassionately. It seemed that Satoshi-kun really couldn't perform well when it counted. While he was usually good when everybody expected him to perform, he couldn't. The pressure, because he's such a timid person. I didn't think it was because of nervousness. He just couldn't do it. I think it's a perfect fit for Satoshi's character. He seems calm at first glance, but he's actually slow.
スコアボードとかそういう数字上ではかなりの高アベレージヒッターなのにね。本番に弱いってのは致命的かも。そんなことだからこないだの浮田ジャガーとの試合でもここ一番で凡退するんですよ。
Ukita Jaggers. What are these? Are the Hinamizawa fighters, right? Okay.
うるさいな。気にしてるんだから黙っててくれよ。
Needs Satoko to coach you, bro. She has the big brain baseball strats.
あそこで打てればかなり美味しい見せ場だったんですけどね。残念です。
A hit could put the offense into the lead, or at least give them an extension. That was when Satoshi-kun came up to bat. Irie wanted to live up to everybody's expectations, but statistically that wasn't likely to happen. Yet Irie insisted on giving him a chance, in spite of the fact that all the team members had suggested a pinch hitter. That's kind of rough.
ああもうあそこで打てれば完璧なのにな。どうしてダメなんですか？
Yeah, just hit the ball. It's easy.
どうしてああいう時に打てないんですか？
Jeez.
仕方ないよ。僕がああいう時弱いの本当だし。僕だって代打を出してくれた方が試合に勝てるかな。
Well, you gotta go in. You have to have the mindset to hit the ball. Like, I'm sure if you're thinking, man, they should have told someone else, you're probably not gonna do well.
試合に勝つかじゃなくて、サトシ君が勝つかどうかが問題なんです。ああもう。
I do like that one arm man. Or is he rocking two? No, he's rocking two. I thought he was styling with one arm band.
なんで当の本人にここまで闘争心がないのかな。普通は逆でしょ？
Yeah, be aggressive. I'm sure. Well, I guess he does become aggressive eventually when he kills his aunt.
代打に変えられそうなところをここは俺に打たせてくださいって食ってかかるとこでしょ？ 自分から代打を出してほしいなんて言い出すなんて、ああもう
I agree. More confidence, Satoshi.
なんでここまで闘争心がないのかな。
それは私も普段から言ってるんですけどね。まあその辺がサトシ君のいいところではあるんですがね。
普段は紳士でも試合には鬼になる。男にはそういう二面性があっても私はいいと思います。
Wow, he probably does.
とにかくサトシ君には鬼がない。仮にもひなみ沢の人間なんだから、たまにはご先祖の鬼の血を思い出してくださいよね。って聞いてサトシ君。
The demon Satoshi.
聞いてるよ。よくわかんないけど、その
わかんないけどってサトシ君の話をしてるんですよ。それを
The headstroke? Nah, that's so funny though. Whenever it happens, she just lets out that. It's like all tension just releases. The master headstroker. How can you resist? Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head. He looked delighted for some reason. An Eerie is just in the background. A blush immediately spread across my face. Who was it? I think it was Eerie in Higurashi that said Shion had a special relationship. Oh, asked. Or, I don't know, he was talking to Shion and saying that wasn't like Satoshi her boyfriend or something. A blush immediately spread across my face. I didn't know how to respond.
ミオンは僕のためを思って言ってくれてるんだよね。ありがとう。僕は頑張る。
It's the song. I feel like this plays whenever something cutesy with Satoshi and Shion happens.
サトシ君、そういうことしてごまかさないでください。
ごまかしてなんかないよ。嬉しいだけだよ。
God damn. I couldn't resist his hand. I couldn't help mumbling like he does. Satoshi-kun ran back to the field, leaving me red as a beet.
頭撫でられるの弱いんですか？
撫でる人によります。
Depends.
監督が撫でてきたら関節決めますんで、覚悟の方よろしくです。
もうずるいな。
Bam, bam. Da-da-dam, bam, bam, bam.
じゃあ全員集合。今日は出席もいいことですから、人数を分けて紅白戦をやってみましょう。
The Hinamizawa fighters are sort of a lazy team, right? It was fighters, I remembered. The members gather simply to enjoy baseball, not to fight for victory. The Okinomiya Titans use this field too, but they practice on a different day of the week. They always train hard using dumbbells and stuff. Was that the team with that like super pitcher into Higurashi? I don't exactly remember. It's a cool name though, Okinomiya Titans. Very intimidating. Our team split into two groups and started a match, retaining their loose atmosphere.
じゃあ私は記録でもやるかな。監督、どっかに鉛筆ないですか？
いつもすみませんね。はい、これお願いしますね。
I took the pencil and the clipboard. I didn't know how to differentiate between recording hits and errors at first, but now I was used to it.
頑張ってサトシ君。あんまり応援するとまた打てなくなっちゃいますね。ほどほどに頑張れ。
Just do okay. Just do your best. Probably would have been better.
それでひどいな。
Yeah. Just do okay. There you go. Time passed slowly that Sunday. Huge white clouds appeared in the sky. They made me feel healthy. Humans are born to be active under the sun. One of the parents was acting as an umpire today, so Eerie sat on the bench with me. He shouted words of encouragement to the kids while they ran to their positions. Come on, Irie, you need to give them the strats. Any other baseball coach would constantly berate them, but he was much more generous, like a kindergarten teacher. He let the kids have fun while watching over them. To other baseball players, they might look a little naive.
それでもあの程度の練習量でみんなこれだけの動きができるんだから驚きですよね。
ひなみ沢の子はみんな普段から元気に遊び回ってますからね。運動量は町のことは比べ物にならないんですよ。
I'm sure that's true. If you're in the countryside, you're probably a bit more active than in the city.
変なフォームで固めてしまうより遊び感覚の方が伸びるんです。
おお、見事に沖宮タイタンズとは正反対の考え方ですね。
But do you beat the Titans?
あちらの監督と対立するのわかる気がします。
タイタンズさんの考えも間違ってませんよ。試合は勝つためにするものですからね。勝利至上主義は決して間違いじゃないです。みんなで団結して共通の目標を目指すのはとても素敵なことだと思いますからね。まあうちはその目標がたまたま勝利じゃないってだけのことです。
The Hinamizawa fighters and the Otonomiya Titans had been rivals for a long time. Both teams shared the same baseball field for one thing. And originally there was only one team, but the people living in Hinamizawa left and made their own. Anyhow, we were rivals. The Otonomiya Titans were strictly about winning, and the Hinamizawa fighters were just about having fun. Dude, I hope we did a baseball game, but I'm not sure. It'd be kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. Surprisingly, our scores weren't that different, which means our team had something they didn't. Okay, so we're close to the level of the Titans, which is a bit surprising. Ew, I just touched the back of my chair and it's so dusty. Gross. Even though I couldn't put it into words, I knew what made that happen.
ほら、赤組さんも頑張ってください。2点差なんかひっくり返せちゃいますよ。白組も油断なくしっかり。
Still, some parents would criticize our coach for being too lenient, but still others would strongly agree with him. Which side would I take? I think that there should be a mix of both. You definitely should have fun, especially if you're not like aiming to go pro or whatever, but definitely should also try to win. Though I'm sure they try to win. The latter, I wouldn't really say for sure. The reason for this was that Irie had an obnoxious habit of sexual assault. He's pretty, he gets pretty spicy sometimes. Good old Irie. Who I'm still suspicious about, but like, is there even any reason? Like, there's barely any reason. It's just, I don't know. It's okay. You're still on my radar, Irie. In particular, he had a fascination with maids, but I should talk about that some other time. Satoshi-kun let the ball pass twice to see its trajectory, then hit it on the third pitch and ran to first base.
Oh, Satoshi-kun 打った打った。落ち着いてればさすがですよね。
最初はちょっと素振りしただけですぐバテてたんですけどね。それを思えば本当に上達したものです。
サトシ君って文系って感じの人ですよね。よくその彼が野球をやろうなんて思ったものですね。
All the other kids who joined the baseball team loved baseball. They go out and play in the fields outside of practice. That's why they all had an aptitude for it. But Sis never said that Satoshi couldn't exercise this intensively in school or anywhere else. He only likes to read. That's why I didn't understand why he started playing for this team to begin with.
それはですね、私がサトシ君をこのチームに誘ったからなんです。
へえ。監督が自らスカウトしたんですか？サトシ君に何かすごい素質があるのを見抜いて。
あ、すみません。麦茶を一杯もらってもいいですか？
Barley tea. I don't know. Well, I think barley tea still kind of sucks. I feel like I said this before. When I first tasted it, it tasted like burnt tea. But like the second time I went to Japan, it was like not as bad. I don't know. I still like just normal green tea better.
あ、どうも。
But it's very popular, so I'm sure you get accustomed to it eventually. Irie asked for tea in a suspicious manner. Well, he constantly joked around. I knew he was actually a very mature person. Like maybe he brought Satoshi into the team to get his mind off his troubling home life. I assumed he was trying to evade my question, or he was grooming him to learn how to use a bat to kill the ants. Who knows?
何か訳ありなんですか？
Irie pretended he didn't hear me, but I pressed him on it. In response, he shrugged and began answering the question.
園崎さんなら、あるいは想像がつくんじゃないかと。
What would Mion Sonozaki's guess? What would be her guess? I quickly searched through the data I had on Satoshi-kun. I came up with Satoshi-kun's family circumstances. Yep. He lost his parents in an accident a year ago. Is it only a year? And the third one happened, so we must be in like fall. No, we must be in like spring. Probably. I don't think we're gonna go through winter in Higurashi, though that would be fun seeing if it's snowy there or not. So, because like we've been accelerating pretty fast, going through a couple weeks, so I'm assuming we're in spring and then we're gonna hit the Watanagashi in summer soonish. Since then, he's been having a tough time at his uncle's home.
じゃあ監督はサトシ君の鬱憤とかそういうのを解消させてあげようと思ってこのチームに。
スポーツはいいですよ。程よく体を動かして汗をかくことはストレスの発散になります。また熱中することによってわずかな間でも家庭のことを忘れられるならそれは十分な気分転換になりますしね。
ほらサトシ君ってぼんやりしてるというかのほほんとしてるというかそういうところあるじゃないですか。やっぱり相当ストレスあるんですか？
I knew Satoshi-kun must be suffering even though he didn't look like it. But Mion Sonozaki never pays attention to things like that, and I had to act like she does.
おじさんに引き取られて少ししてからサトシ君がだいぶ体調を崩しましてね。
This is San from the question arts too. I think this is the first time we're hearing it. This arc. Is it? I think it is. It sounds familiar anyways.
いろんな症状を訴えるんですが、いくら調べても原因がはっきりしないんですよ。
Okay, so he's actually sick. That's interesting. He's being tested in the clinic, huh, Irie? Huh? I see you. Can't fool me. Satoshi-kun often got sick after he was taken into his uncle's custody. That's weird. He suffered from fatigue and migraines. Okay, that's not... I thought he was like sick. Like, obviously that's just super... Well, I don't know. But it sounds like super stressed out just from the home life. He suffered from a lack of energy and sleeplessness. The coach, I mean Dr. Irie, soon realized Satoshi-kun was suffering from a psychological disorder. Interesting. Like I said before in the theory videos, I feel like most people are. Or at least most sprited characters are. And I think one of the meme theories was like, what if the village was just like a front for like a place for mentally ill people to do like experiments on. It's a pretty spicy one, if I do say so myself. most of the people in Hinamizawa knew how bad Satoshi Kun's environment was. I was trying to also say, like, since most people knew, you think they would like do something about it, especially if the higher chance again ties with the Yakuza. Might as well just off these bad people, probably giving Hinamizawa a bad name, but I guess they're not, because the fact that they're Hojos and the Hojos aren't exactly allies of the village. It was natural for him to become sick because he entered that bad environment right after his parents' deaths.
サトシ君は感情の爆発ができないタイプなんですよ。泣いたりとか怒ったりとか、そういう感情が人一倍苦手なんです。
Sorry, I'm getting semi-important messages. But this should be the last one. Sounds good. Boom. Okay.
確かにサトシ君が泣いたりとか怒ったりってのはあまり想像つかないですね。
Yeah, I can't imagine him being
再
angry
婚を
either.
重ねてるのはご存知で。
Oh,
まあ
I didn't know that.
少しは。
Is Satoshi not Satoko's real brother? That'd be interesting. Satoshi-kun's mother had married a number of men over the years. That meant Satoshi-kun had several stepfathers. He had to deal with this. I mean, Satoshi looks exactly like Satoko, so I doubt it. He had to deal with strangers coming into his home multiple times, so he was forced to be mature.
サトシ君は精神的に早熟なんです。本人は自覚していないでしょうがね。泣いたり笑ったり、ダダをこねたり。
Yeah, I guess that explains it, huh? Mentally underdeveloped. And I guess that's the same thing with Satoko. I guess being in a super stressful place where you can't properly vent means you can't grow up properly.
そういう時代をあっという間に卒業させられて大人になっちゃ
I
ったん
mean,
です。
yeah, you can't grow up properly. Even if you do grow, it's not properly. So I guess I wasn't wrong.
監督の言い方だと大人ってのが必ずしもいいようには聞こえないですね。
子供は子供らしく過ごすことで成長していくようにできているんです。
This is an interesting thought too, because that could explain a lot of characters. Like it explains Satoshi and Satoko, but it also explains why Mion would be kind of crazy. Why Shion? Well, I feel like Shion probably had less stress than Mion. Again, we don't know Rena's childhood, so we can't comment on that. But like Rita's childhood also wasn't great. Keiichi's childhood was kind of weird. I don't think it's as bad as like everyone else I named, but like he obviously had problems at school and stuff, and he was like forced to go to cram school, right? So yeah, common theme. Again, it could just be a theme and highlighting the problems that children could have growing up with like a bad environment, or it could be like something actually like related to the actual plot of the story. Whether you want to go like into meme territory with the mentally ill experiment village, or if you want to like something more reasonable, I don't know. But it's a good point. I've said it before, but it's cool they're actually bringing it up, kind of bringing more validity to my claims.
それを無理に大人にしたらやっぱりいいことはないですよ。
Not only was Satoko's current relationship with her aunt conspicuously terrible, I heard that her relationship with her previous stepfathers weren't good either. Satoko always caused problems, and Satoshi-kun would always step in to protect her.
だからサトシ君の体に変調が出たのはそういうことに体が耐えかねた SOS じゃないかって思ったんです。
That's why Ire invited Satoshi-kun onto the baseball team. He told Satoshi that he needed a new member, or something like that.
初めは渋ってましたけどね。彼と診療の際にいろいろとお話しするうちに少しずつ打ち解けていきましてね。ちょっと見学だけにでも来てみるといい。
I don't know if you could hear my stomach growl. I am recording before I eat my lunch since it's a Saturday, so I don't have to be tired and the TV doesn't have to be blaring, so it's like perfect day for recording. I'll probably do like 2, honestly. Well, 1 at night for Higurashi. I might record an episode of whatever else there is to record, so good days. Weekends are always fun for that if the house is empty anyways.
ちょっとバットを持ってみるといい。
Sorry if you heard my stomach growling. I will probably make a pizza after this is done.
なんて感じで少しずつ誘っていったんですよ。
This might be a different song. I don't know. It sounded familiar, but I'm getting like totally a different vibe from it, so I'm not sure. Sports worked excellently for Satoshi-kun. His health quickly improved, and he started to become interested in baseball. He practiced batting, he was soon able to swing beautifully, and he learned to see the trajectory of the ball.
なんかわかるな。
And back to the Paris song, the
サトシ君って
classic.
コツコツタイプですからね。How to Baseball なんて本をしおり挟みながら読んでる風景が想像できます。
それであれよあれよという間に3割打者なんです。本当によく頑張りました。これでピンチの時にも打てれば完璧なんですけどね。
サトシ君と監督って仲いいんですか？
悪くはないと思ってますよ。悩みとかそういうのを打ち明けてくれたということは私を信頼してくれたからだと思ってます。
I felt a bit jealous of how confidently Irie said that. While Satoshi-kun and I were friends, we weren't so close that we'd open up to each other like that.
あれ？嫉妬してます？
何に？
Taken aback, I blushed. Irie started laughing at me.
園崎さんもサトシ君の相談相手になってあげてください。
まあなれるならなれたらいいかななんて。
Sorry. I feel my stomach growling. Damn. I didn't know what I was saying. I feel like that was pretty
サ
loud.
トシ君ですね。
It's embarrassing.
最近また少し体調を崩してるみたいなんです。
What? Well, that changed the vibe. What? Well, we went to like kind of ominous to a thwack. A nice dinker. The ball flew to the left, but the left fielder managed to catch it. Unlucky. It seemed that the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had gotten worse lately. It was obvious his sickness had something to do with that.
おばさんがかなり大人げないいじめ方をしているらしいんです。さとこちゃん、本当にかわいそうなくらいにボロボロになって。何しろ聞いた話では。
で、それをかばうサトシ君もボロボロになっているということですね。
I wasn't interested in Satoko, so I switched the subject back to Satoshi-kun. I didn't know much about Satoko. I knew that she was a big part of Satoshi-kun's life, but I'd never been interested in her until today. She must have been building up self-esteem in taking care of her unreliable brother. That was all I knew about her. But considering Satoshi-kun's personality, even that goofiness of his might have been an act. Maybe he was trying to make her feel good about herself by letting her take care of him. If only unconsciously. When he's alone, he's surprisingly strong. I realized that only recently. So I couldn't help but think that his whole life is constantly affected by Satoko. Satoshi-kun managed to get along with his stepfathers even though he experienced some stress. He was even getting along with his aunt. But in order to protect Satoko, he always had to step in and suffer. I didn't really know anything about Satoko, but I had to admit I felt hostile towards her. I felt jealous because she was monopolizing him.
最近さとこちゃんへのおばさんのいじめがだいぶエスカレートしてるみたいです。サトシ君の体調不良もそれに比例しているんでしょうね。
Irie heaved a sigh. As he said, Satoshi-kun had been absent a few times lately. He seemed a bit tired too. He looked normal when around everybody else, but he looked a bit depressed when he was alone.
監督はストレスに押しつぶされそうなサトシ君を救うため野球に誘ったんですよね。
ええ、そのつもりでした。
こうして野球をやっている今、またストレスに押しつぶされそうになっているサトシ君に今度は何を誘えばいいんですか？
どうすればいいんでしょうね。
Irie smiled powerlessly. I couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed about that because Satoshi-kun put his trust in him.
内緒にしてくださいよ。実はですね、チームを抜けたいってそう漏らすんですよ、最近。
Uh-oh.
どうして？
疲れるからだそうです。というのは表向き。さとこちゃんと一緒にいる時間を増やしてあげるためじゃないかと思ってます。サトシ君は野球をしている間、さとこちゃんがおばさんにいじめられているかもしれない。その時、さとこちゃんのそばにいられないことが兄として辛いと、そう思っているのかもしれません。
Well, I feel like Shion really doesn't, or really won't like Satoko as much. Though I guess we didn't see them interact too much. Maybe that's a sign during watching Higurashi, Shion was the one that did that weird rant about Satoko, like when Teichi was climbing the ladder and she was like, Satoko's a cursed child, blah 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 blah, something like that in a spooky voice. I was left speechless for a while. Satoko again. Satoko. Why did Satoshi-kun have to sacrifice so much for her? Just by ignoring her, his stress would melt away. Of course I knew he couldn't do that. If that were the case, then the blame lay with his sister, or maybe his aunt, I don't know. I feel like the aunt, I mean, I can kind of see, like, I understand Satoko is probably a little clingy, but I think we should blame the aunt, not Satoko. But again, this is Shion, who's a teenage girl who really likes Satoshi, so I can kind of understand her. I knew how badly she's been treated, but that only happened because she made things worse for herself. It was her fault that she couldn't establish a decent relationship with her aunt. If Satoko were more mature, like Satoshi-kun, her home life wouldn't have gotten so bad. I think it's like we literally just had this conversation about how Satoshi-kun being super mature kind of messed with him, so I don't think it would necessarily be a good thing for Satoko either. I mean, obviously, this is just, again, Shion ranting because she really likes Satoshi. Almost like she wants to be like the most important person to him, when obviously Satoko is right now. So again, this might be her crazy side kind of showing up too, because it is a little unreasonable to blame Satoko for this. I don't think anyone would. If Teichi was here, he'd probably like slap Shion for this if he heard this. Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer those indirect blows. In the meantime, the baseball team's practice match had become one-sided. It wasn't even worth watching anymore. The members of the losing team were just goofing off. The sky had turned cloudy too. It was depressing. It didn't look like it'd rain soon though. The gray sky hadn't brought along any cool air. It just felt disgusting. Irie became quiet. He was looking down around his feet. I meanwhile just stared at Satoshi-kun. To me, he didn't look active anymore. He was once able to enjoy playing baseball and he felt fine. I feel like with this sound, it usually goes into a chapter break, right? I feel like there's been so many times where it's like this sound and then it's like silence, chapter break screen where this, whatever this is. What is this? I think this is supposed to be Higurashi. It's like a mixture of Higurashi, but it sounds super ominous, huh? But he got sick again, just because the relationship between Satoko and her aunt got deteriorated. I couldn't help but say it. Say it, Shion. Cause...
サトシ君をどうこうするってより、サトコをどうこう
Yikes.
する方が先決では。
I like you, Shion, but don't mess with Satoko. She's like the mascot of this channel. Well, we'll see what happens. Why not just do something about the ant? Why is it Satoko? But I mean, I get it. Like, you should do something. I mean, if you're gonna do something about the ant. But Shion would want to do something about Satoko so she can get closer to Satoshi. But even though she's saying it's for Satoshi's own good, it's also partially for her own good. In my opinion, as an armchair psychologist who has like no experience in psychology at all. That's my diagnosis. I've watched like 2 psychology TV shows. I think I know what I'm saying. It was just a murmur, but Irie had definitely caught it. And Irie won't like it either, because Irie is definitely super kind to Satoko.
それはどういう意味ですか、園崎さん。
This is a new song for sure, I think. Yo, fight for me, Irie.
別に難しい話じゃないです。
Let's hear it.
サトコがしっかりしてくれれば、サトシ君に迷惑をかけることもない。サトコがそもそもの原因であるってことが言いたいだけです。
Pretty cringe. She's like, at this point, she's like, what, 7, 6 years old? 9 years old?
そんなことは。
でしょ？だってサトコがトラブルからサトシ君はそのトラブルに介入して矢面に立たなければならないんでしょ？
She's talking fast though. Calm her down, Irie. When you talk fast, it sounds more reasonable.
でその結果、本当は買わなくて済んだ親の喧嘩まで買ってるわけでしょ？
Satoshi-kun never got scared of any trouble. I'm sure Satoshi-kun would be like mad if he heard Shion right now too. Being pretty unreasonable right now. No matter how formidable the enemy, he'd bravely stand up to protect the weak. I knew that because I could vividly imagine it. Ooh. Whenever their aunt chides Satoko, Satoshi-kun steps in to protect her. The aunt probably didn't like it. Though Satoshi-kun didn't have to fight, the ant would attack him anyway. The fight would be between the ant and him. Satoko then might tease the ant by sticking out her tongue, hiding behind his back and pretending to be scared. Okay. I mean, to be fair, you can kind of see that with Satoko's personality, but obviously we know that's not true. When Satoko's sad, she just turns to like a zombie. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe this is like, maybe she was just a zombie after Satoshi left, and that's why she thinks it's her fault more. But like in the hint, we saw her being pretty zombie-like, so I doubt it. She never think about how deeply he was being hurt. Also, this is all like observations, and Shion hasn't even met Satoko yet, and she admitted she wasn't even thinking about her, so it's just, I don't know, a lot of speculation by Shion. And as a speculation master, I disagree. Because of Satoko, Satoshi-kun had become cornered and stressed.
園崎さん、あなたがそんな言い方をする人だったとは驚きです。
Sure.
あなたは聡子ちゃんのお友達でしょ。お姉さん的な立場でしょ。普段も学校で聡子ちゃんを慰めたり励ましたりしてるものだと思ってました。なのにそんな言い方をするなんて。
Man, this really makes me want to believe, like, I don't know, never mind.
正直驚いています。
Tell her, Irie. Irie looked at me suspiciously. I could tell what he was thinking about me. I'd said too much. Mian Sonozaki and Satoko Hojo are friends. They're close, so Mian should have been encouraging her after the situation at home got tougher. That's what Mian was supposed to do. I had totally forgotten about that and spoken as myself. This one's from the questioner. This one's pretty good once it gets going. Wait for that drop into the real song for a second. It's a good song, as pretty much like 90% of the songs are so far. It's only natural that Irie would give me a suspicious look. He might end up changing his impressions of Mion Sonozaki entirely. I'd have to apologize to her about this and I'd have to apologize to her about this and ask her to put things right. I totally messed up. Even so, I didn't think I'd said anything wrong. I'd objectively looked at the situation and made a modest proposal. Modest. It's always interesting though, because I'm sure like if it's not like intentionally malicious, I'm sure she actually thinks it's right, but as a viewer, at least in my mind, because maybe some people do agree with her, but it just seems like super not right. Super wrong. And it's not just because I love Satoko. I think it's like fairly, I don't know. It's interesting. To be honest, I was simply afraid that he might leave the team. It's also interesting because remembering to Higurashi when like Mion was saying like they couldn't do anything and like I was getting like mad at that. I'm not actually like mad at Shion because I can kind of understand it, but I don't know. I'm not mad. It's just interesting. I interestingly disagree with her because Satoko is a god. I couldn't go to the school in Hinamizawa, so the baseball field was the only place where I could see him. I could even say that he was my reason for living. Come on. I get it. Kind of. This is gonna be interesting, huh? I mean, it's been interesting seeing Shion's personality change so much just from these couple of chapters. Does I really feel like Shion could be like evil? So it'd be interesting to see this game through the perspective of like someone evil. What if like I wouldn't be surprised if Shion literally just killed the ant at this point. That's right, I was in love with him. But I wasn't going to tell him how I felt, for I was satisfied just being by his side. I certainly couldn't ask for anything more. After all, I couldn't reveal my true identity. I had to pretend to be Mion in order to live in Otonomiya. I thought that maybe I should leave Otonomiya in order to be free. But that's stupid. No matter how tough my life might be, I'd prefer to be here, with Satoshi-kun stroking my head every now and then. Why did I love him that much? I read about it in some manga once. You don't need a reason to be in love. I was surprised at myself for being like this. Well, this is also a topic that the author likes, since this love thing was very prevalent in Umineko, where like you might be doing like super unreasonable things for love, and how it can like really affect your mindset, where you might think you're doing the right thing when it's kind of wrong. So it's just a fun topic for Mr. Author here, who I always just call Author because I don't think I'll pronounce his name correctly. But yeah, fun
落ち
times.
着け私
As long as you don't try to kill Satoko, we're in good territory, Shion, alright? But if you kind of like, if you go big brain like Keiichi did, but instead of killing the uncle, you kill Satoko, or attempt to, then no. No, no. I breathed out slowly, then held my breath, trying to slow my throbbing heart. Maybe that's why. Maybe Shion was the... No, it doesn't make sense. For the child service thing, to get like Satoko like separated from the family. But it's like all the other club members talked about it like they were the ones who planned it, so... Unless Shion like helped, but who knows when... That would have to be pre-watching Higurashi, and that would have to be like a lot before it. I don't know exactly. I don't remember exactly when they attempted it. I don't know the timeline right now because we're accelerated so much. I felt a bit calmer. At this point, a clear thought came into my mind. I want to be with Satoshi-kun. So, I want him to stay on the team. So, I want to get rid of his concerns and stress. So what? So, what can I do to achieve all that? My head started to cool down as I heard the umpire shout. Yeah. Wow. That was a great mid-chapter. That was a great session. I really enjoyed that. You got your cute moments with Satoshi. You got like some... Again, it's interesting. Oh, some days I see him, and some days I don't. A clear sky that's cloudy, and rain will always stop eventually. I thought his absence was just like that, but he was actually on the verge of a breakdown. Sounds like Shion describing Satoshi, but who knows what notebook that is. Who knows? There's a lot of notebooks going around, huh? Though it would kind of make sense if like one notebook's Shion's and one notebook is Satoshi for the hints. But yeah, I love that episode. It was interesting. And it'll be interesting to see Shion going through. I feel like we're not gonna get... I mean, maybe we'll get Keiichi, like... I don't know, it depends how the timeline goes. Like, because it did say Keiichi in the opening credits, but I don't know if that means we'll actually get him. I guess one way would be like, you go through this year as like the halfway point, and then the next waypoint would be like the year with Keiichi. But that seems like a long thing, or you need a lot more time. But I don't know. Anyways, great chapter. We're seeing big developments with Shion. Some possible motivations going forward. And I'm sure next session we'll see if she actually has a goal now. Like, is she hatching a plan to get with Satoshi? But yeah, this is interesting. This is literally like Shion's quest to get her husband, and we'll see how far she goes to get Satoshi's love. But thank you for watching. I know I said this is the end of this 7-day thing, but I do kind of want to like, because again, I want to do Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So you probably just, it's kind of like an 8-day thing because you'll probably get one tomorrow. But thank you for watching as always. Yeah, have fun.